Well, I don't need to tell you that the nation has been absolutely obsessed with the story of the four University of Idaho students who were stabbed to death last fall, and Bryan Kohberger, the graduate student who's charged in the quadruple homicide. All eyes have been glued to the media coverage since the victims were discovered on November 13th at their off-campus home in Moscow, Idaho. But that can all come to a screeching halt. I was going to say tomorrow, but we have just learned that the hearing that the judge was going to have to determine whether or not cameras would be in the courtroom, that has been delayed. We're still trying to understand when it's going to be delayed too. We might get a better understanding from that hearing tomorrow, when the date will be, when the arguments are about whether or not cameras will be in the courtroom. Maybe it had to do with Labor Day weekend, and it's such a big issue they didn't want to decide it. But I'll tell you this much. Up until all of this, the judge in this case, Judge John Judge, that's his real name, he has allowed cameras, but he's also reserved the right to change his mind. Now, the defense filed a motion to remove those cameras, and the arguments the judge will hear eventually from both sides, it's pretty clear cut. So Kohberger's defense will argue against allowing cameras, claiming that up until this point, news agencies have focused solely on Kohberger. They previously called the media's attention on him, quote, twisted and grotesque. They further claim that the hyper-unbalanced spotlighting of their client will taint the future jury pool in an already extremely publicized trial. But on the other side is not the prosecution, but rather attorneys who are representing a coalition of news agencies who will argue their First Amendment rights, claiming that the public has a right to access public proceedings and that it is especially important in a death penalty case like this one to help ensure that criminal proceedings are run fairly and for all to see when the stakes are so high. All valid arguments. You can see both sides. Now, I will tell you, I am personally of the opinion that cameras should almost always be allowed in court. But I want to get a little bit the debate going, so I want to bring in my guest. I want to hear what she has to think. Joining us right now is Bernarda Villalona. She is a criminal defense attorney who previously served as a senior district attorney in the Homicide Bureau of the Brooklyn DA's office. Bernarda, great to see you. Let me get right into it. This is what I think, right? I'm one for cameras in the courtroom. It helps with transparency. It helps in understanding this trial because people are going to see the evidence. They're going to see the witnesses themselves. It's very different than reading transcripts or news articles. And in an effort to show justice, in an effort to restore faith in the court system, I think it's important. Why do you see it the other way?
So in terms for the defense of Bryan Kohberger, you have to think, did we forget about the Constitution? The United States Constitution as well as the Idaho State Constitution all has his rights in the sense of he's entitled to a fair trial and to due process. The problem with cameras inside of the courtroom is that you take that away because there's so much of an emphasis of trying the case in the media, as opposed to this case should be tried inside of the courtroom. And what's important is what those jurors see in the courtroom and not really what's going on outside of the courtroom.
But they're not supposed to look at news coverage of it anyway. How's the cameras in the courtroom? Which, by the way, the Supreme Court has ruled that cameras in the courtroom is not unconstitutional. It's not a burden. And right now, you can hide them in a way you don't even notice them.
Oh, absolutely. But the problem is, Jesse, is that everything that happens before a jury is selected. So all this media inside of the courtroom, and you get to see Bryan Kohberger, like you have his mugshot. You have him
You're saying it'll taint the future jury pool.
Absolutely.
Okay, how about this? You don't show cameras for the jury selection process. You start them up with the opening statements, the jury instructions. You start when the trial actually starts and you have a jury seated. Why can't you have cameras then?
But this is the thing, Jesse. If we're talking about, okay, not jury selection, no cameras there, but how about all these motions that are being argued? How about all this evidence that's coming in doing these motions that won't come in at trial? Now you have
You're saying when the jury's not present.
Absolutely. When you're talking about
But they're not supposed to watch it.
But before, they don't know that they're jurors yet. When we're talking about these hearings coming up.
So you're talking about the cameras in the courtroom right now. Forget that. I'm talking about cameras for the trial. Shouldn't it be in there? Shouldn't we all have a right to see how this goes? Because everybody already has an idea about this case.
But this is the thing. Then you have to trust that 12 jurors are not going home and turning on their TV and all they're watching is what's going on and commentating about the case.
They can turn it on whether or not they can turn on any program talking about the Bryan Kohberger trial, whether or not there's trial footage or not. We could be like, so our reporter in the courtroom today said that this happened in the Bryan Kohberger case. That's not an excuse because it doesn't matter if we have the trial footage.
But they're not supposed to be hearing or reading anything having to do with the trial. And this jury, as of now, is now going to be sequestered.
I would say the best argument against cameras in the courtroom, and I don't really believe it, is people act different. Maybe the attorneys act a little differently. Then you could say, I don't know, they act more professional when they know the cameras are on them. No?
But also you have witnesses as well that act differently because there are cameras inside of the courtroom. But the whole thing about all of this, Jesse, is that if they're watching TV, if they're reading news, they're hearing our commentating, our legal analysis when they should be focusing their decision.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.